Welcome to EO Talks, Eastern Oregon's very own talk show, only here on EO Alive.
Please introduce yourself and tell us which office you're running.
My name is Tim McLeod. I'm a Republican, and I'm running for governor of the state of Oregon.
Now, can you tell me what you do professionally right now?
Currently, I work as a business development analyst for a U.S. defense and aerospace manufacturer. So, what that entails is understanding market trends, creating market transparency, and since we deal in international markets, also creating customer transparency as well. And we do that through a series of profiles, presentations, reports, etc.
Now, do you have any government service background?
So I've managed a public works program. I've also been involved in general services through county work in facilities maintenance. I've worked as a transportation broker for a quasi-government organization providing non-emergency medical transportation. And for a short period of time, I worked in the state of Oregon's constituency services department, working for the office of the governor.
Now, can you go into your personal biography a little more in depth for us?
I'm a husband. I'm a father of three daughters. We live in Marion County in Oregon. My background in education is in public administration. I minored in business, and along the way to working towards completing my education, I also opened up a small business, which is a state licensed childcare business in Deschutes County. While running that business, going to school, raising my family, we experienced economic crisis, which eventually or shortly thereafter led to us doing all of those same things from a campground in Sun River. So, as a candidate, I also understand what it's like to both be homeless and to overcome homelessness through transitional support and hard work. And so I have a real life that I've lived, and I think it really allows me to um, engage with people on a different, more human level rather than focusing on surface level events, really getting to the core of who people are, understanding them, and finding how we share similarities in our identities.
Now, can you tell me more about your community of Marion County?
Marion County has some really beautiful parts in it. And I will also say Marion County has some parts that are unfortunate. So during my time living in Marion County, which has been about going on, getting close to 4 years, about a year ago or so, I witnessed firsthand the homicide of a child, which occurred in my neighborhood in a school parking lot. And I'm aware that this young person, 17 years old, who was killed that day, he's not the first person to die of gun violence here in Marion County. So Marion County has some aspects of it that are really difficult for families. And I know that we do a lot of politics and policy here, but it's also clear that there's a very significant disconnect between the policies and the people of this community.
Now, as you talk to Oregonians, can you tell us about the issues they're saying they want the next governor to focus on?
There's actually been a very strong reception to electing a governor with an intent to do something about the Emergency Act legislation. It seems when that issue comes up as discussed as something that needs to be pulled off the table for the benefit of Oregonians and for a more ethical legislation process, it's something that people really want to see the next governor tackle. Other issues that are significant when we have the conversations with individuals are crime, which is significant. And as I just shared, I have a personal connection to the issue of crime resulting in the death of a child. Schools, the quality of our schools, seeing achievement rates and graduation rates throughout our state, seeing the way that those affect individuals and limit us from developing specialized employment throughout our communities, or seeing individuals in our community with specialization who choose to leave our communities because it doesn't fit their set of values is really hard for us as a society, and also for our economy. Losing, putting investing in the future and then seeing that future walk out the door, move to another place, is costly, and it actually prevents us from being able to fulfill the service requirements that the state of Oregon has it through its broad taxation and very cumbersome government style of operation.
Who is your favorite Oregon historical figure?
Well, I think it's quite easy for someone like myself, a Republican running in the state of Oregon, to say that Mark Hatfield would probably be at least a top figure, politically speaking, in the state of Oregon. In particular, I admire the way that he was able to bring both sides of the political parties together. But more importantly, Mark Hatfield is somebody who is easily identified as somebody who did the most possible for citizens of Oregon. And so, more importantly than the political party itself, because political parties often have their own agenda, which doesn't match that of the people, I think that his leadership in the state was significant in being able to draw conversations from both sides to have the dialogue that led to policies that were in favor of individuals rather than looking for ways to circumvent the legislation, our Oregon Constitution, and the people without having the conversation using emergency use legislation.
Now, what would you consider to be the primary sources of your personal values?
Growing up, my mom and my grandma were the primary individuals responsible for raising me. So I have a strong duty as a result of the education that I received from my mom and my grandma. So, obviously, women's rights are important to me. Protecting weaker individuals is important to me. Being able to communicate uh, in spite of personal feelings is important to me. Being able to reach across and learn to find common ground with people, those are all values that I learned from them. And also, growing up, I was raised in the church, so I do have a background in values that come from an ancient place as well. But all that said, I really look to create commonalities with people, and at times that means making sure that my values are my own while respecting other people's values as well.
Now, do you anticipate any criticisms from your opponents, and do you have any responses to these potential criticisms?
Well, the criticisms are out there. There are always shots that are being taken about what somebody's perception is about what your achievements are. There are always individuals, even in the party, that are looking for ways to uh, discount the achievements of people who are taking the steps of running as legally qualified candidates for governor in the state of Oregon. But all that to say is, these people, if they had any guts, they would be taking the opportunities themselves rather than looking for ways to knock down people who are taking the risk and are moving forward with plans to advance and support and help people of Oregon. So, those criticisms will probably be out there until November. But until November, this race has not been decided by the people. And as such, let those criticisms fly, because ultimately they're a sign of insecurity. And so, we just got to be able to, like water off a duck's back, move on and move forward.
Okay, now it's time for our world famous lightning round. So, first up, ducks or beavers?
Mountaineers.
Alrighty, I feel that. Second, what is your favorite Oregon landmark?
I like Multnomah Falls really good. Are pretty good. I think that there's so many places that you could come up with. I mean, we could fill up a whole series just on beautiful places in Oregon. Multnomah Falls caught my eye the last time I was driving down 84 going out to Eastern Oregon, so that'll be the one for today's interview.
I love it. What is your favorite Oregon beer?
Ooh, that's tough. I don't necessarily have a favorite Oregon beer. I'm sure that I've tried my share of a few, um, but it's been a while since I've had some Oregon beer. But I will say that, and as a personal preference, when I do thinking about having a beer, it's generally going to be a stout or a porter.
Alrighty. What is your favorite place in Eastern Oregon?
My last trip out to LeGrand was significant. I really had a great time. Uh, a lot of the landscape out there reminds me of home, and so I'm really I'm really in tune with Eastern Oregon as a climate, as a environment, and a landscape. So at this point, I don't know that there's a favorite place that I have, but I look forward to uh, continuing my travels throughout the state. And should there be a future interview, that'd be a question I'd love to have come up again.
Do you have any final thoughts to share with our viewers? And can you let them know how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah. So again, my name is Tim McLeod. I'm running for the office of governor. You can find out more about me at my website, the number four, and my last name, McLeod, MCCLOUD.com. I'm all over social media. So Twitter, OR for McLeod, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You look me up, you can find me there. I'm doing this. I'm running for citizens of Oregon, particularly those that have been silenced, canceled, and been ignored. It's been a style in Oregon politics for far too long. We see favoritism taking place over people. And as a people oriented individual, as somebody who knows what it's like to have been counted out, as a true outsider in this race, I'm running for people who also have had to be viewed as outsiders based on not being inside of a favorite group. And so I'm looking forward to earning support from now through to November, because it's clear that this race isn't over, and that if we don't take the steps to fight for the things that we believe in, then that means that we will agree with any outcome that somebody with their own agenda chooses for us. So this is definitely about securing elections and making sure that bylaws are protected and stood by, making sure that people are heard, and making sure that voices who have been silenced for generations have an opportunity to be heard. From Eastern Oregon to Western Oregon, down south and up north, we're all one Oregon. Oregon matters, even the fringes, and we want to make sure that all of these voices have an opportunity to be heard.